Vortex of vengeance. The neon glow of Silvergate City was deceptive, masking the corruption festering beneath its surface. The streets belonged to crime syndicates, their power stretching from the darkest alleyways to the highest offices. At the top of it all sat Lucien Marquez, a kingpin whose influence was absolute until now. Nathan Steele had spent years hunting men like Marquez. Once an elite covert operative, he had been framed for treason by the very government he had sworn to protect. Forced into hiding, Nathan had spent the last 5 years gathering intelligence, waiting for the right moment to strike. Tonight, his war would begin. The first target, Marquez's smuggling hub at the Silvergate docks. It was here that the syndicate trafficked everything from weapons to human lives. Nathan had intercepted a shipment manifest revealing that a major arms deal was happening at midnight. If he could cripple Marquez's supply lines, it would send a message that the crime lord was no longer untouchable. Dressed in black tactical gear, Nathan moved like a shadow through the maze of shipping containers. He neutralized sentries with precise, silent takedowns, his training making him a ghost in the night. As he approached the main warehouse, he spotted his primary objective, Rico Alvarado, Marquez's second-in-command, overseeing the exchange. Nathan set up a sniper perch on a container crane, his crosshairs hovering over Alvarado's smug face. But he needed Alvarado alive. He was the key to getting to Marquez. Instead, Nathan took out the armed guards first, sowing panic among the criminals below. Chaos erupted. Alvarado scrambled for cover as Nathan descended upon the warehouse like a force of nature, engaging in close-quarters combat. A brutal fight ensued, ending with Alvarado bloodied and gasping on the floor. Nathan grabbed him by the collar. "Where's Marquez?" Alvarado spat blood. "You think this ends with me? Marquez is 10 steps ahead." Nathan smirked. "Then I'll catch up." He knocked Alvarado unconscious, planting explosives around the warehouse before vanishing into the night. The explosion lit up the harbor, sending a clear message to Marquez. The kingpin would retaliate. But that was exactly what Nathan wanted. The hunt had just begun. Title: Shadow Protocol. The streets of Istanbul pulsed with life, the Grand Bazaar glowing under the golden lights of evening. Agent Alex Mercer moved through the crowd with practiced ease, his eyes locked on a single target, a man known only as Spectre. Spectre was no ordinary criminal. A former intelligence operative turned international terrorist, he had orchestrated some of the deadliest attacks in recent history. And now, he possessed something far more dangerous, a stolen prototype of the Valkyrie virus, a bioweapon capable of erasing entire populations. Alex wasn't here for negotiations. He was here to finish this. Control, I have visual on the target, Alex muttered into his concealed comms. Confirmed, came the response. Spectre is heading towards the docks. Move in, but keep it quiet. We can't afford collateral damage. Alex adjusted his grip on the silenced pistol strapped to his belt. He weaved through the market stalls, keeping Spectre within sight but never too close. The man was sharp, one wrong move, and he would disappear into the night. But tonight, Alex was faster. Spectre turned into a dimly lit alley, and Alex followed, his steps silent. He was about to close the gap when Spectre suddenly spun around, pistol raised. I was wondering when they'd send you, Spectre said with a smirk. Too bad you're too late. A gunshot rang out, but Alex was already moving. He ducked behind a stack of crates, pulling his own weapon free. The alley erupted into chaos. Spectre's men emerged from the shadows, rifles aimed. Alex fired, taking down 2 before rolling to cover. He needed to get to Spectre before he could escape with the virus. Ducking low, he sprinted forward, using the narrow walls to his advantage. He disarmed one guard with a brutal strike, then sent another crashing into a pile of metal barrels. The scent of gunpowder filled the air. Spectre had made it to the docks, A black speedboat waiting. Not happening, Alex growled, breaking into a full sprint. Spectre turned, raising the virus container as if to taunt him. You're too slow, Mercer. The world is already changing. Alex lunged, tackling Spectre just as he reached the boat. They crashed onto the deck, the virus canister skidding across the surface. A brutal fight ensued. Spectre was trained, every strike lethal. But Alex had spent his life hunting men like him. Blow after blow, they fought for dominance. Spectre grabbed a knife, slashing at Alex's side. Pain flared, but Alex didn't stop. With a final, crushing punch, he sent Spectre sprawling against the railing. Breathing heavily, Alex picked up the virus container. It's over, he said. Spectre wiped blood from his mouth and grinned. For me, maybe. But for you? This war never ends. Before Alex could react, Spectre lunged for a detonator. A self-destruct charge. He was willing to take them both down. Alex didn't hesitate. One precise shot. The detonator fell from Spectre's hand as he collapsed. The boat rocked as an explosion erupted from the shore. Spectre's backup plan, now useless. Alex exhaled, pressing his earpiece. Mission complete. Target neutralized. I have the package. As extraction teams closed in, Alex stared at Spectre's lifeless form. The war wasn't over. It never was. Title: Silent Retribution. The city of Tokyo shimmered under the neon glow, its streets alive with movement. But high above the chaos, on the rooftop of a skyscraper, Agent Nathan Cross was waiting. Dressed in black tactical gear, he watched the convoy below through the scope of his rifle. His target, Viktor Ivanov, a former arms dealer turned warlord. After years of eluding justice, he had come to Japan for one final deal, one that could spark a global conflict. Tonight, Nathan was going to make sure that deal never happened. Eyes on target, Nathan murmured into his earpiece. Copy that, his handler, Sarah Langley, responded. You have one shot at this. No mistakes. Nathan exhaled slowly, finger hovering over the trigger. The convoy came to a halt outside an abandoned warehouse. Ivanov stepped out, flanked by a dozen heavily armed guards. The Russian looked as arrogant as ever, cigar in hand, speaking into his phone. Nathan aimed for the kill shot. Then, at the last second, Ivanov turned and a child ran into his arms. Abort, Sarah's voice ordered. We can't risk a civilian casualty. Nathan clenched his jaw. He never missed. But he wouldn't take the shot. Not with an innocent involved. As Ivanov and his men disappeared into the warehouse, Nathan adjusted his plan. The only way to stop him now was up close and personal. He rappelled down the side of the building, landing silently in a dark alley. Pulling a suppressed pistol from his holster, he moved through the shadows, taking out two guards with swift precision. Inside, the warehouse was a maze of metal containers and flickering overhead lights. Nathan kept low, his training kicking in. He reached the main hall just as Ivanov was sealing the deal, exchanging a suitcase filled with cash for a black market nuclear device. Nathan acted fast. He shot out the lights, plunging the room into darkness. Chaos erupted. Ivanov's men fired blindly, shouting orders in Russian. But Nathan was a ghost. He took them down one by one, moving unseen. Ivanov, realizing the danger, grabbed the suitcase and bolted for the back exit. Nathan pursued, vaulting over crates, dodging bullets. The chase spilled into the back alleys, rain pouring down, footsteps echoing. Ivanov was fast. But Nathan was faster. He tackled the warlord to the ground. The suitcase flew open, stacks of cash scattering into puddles. You should have stayed hidden, Ivanov, Nathan growled. Ivanov sneered. And you should have taken the shot. With a sudden burst of strength, Ivanov lashed out, knocking Nathan's weapon aside. They fought viciously, exchanging brutal blows. Ivanov was strong, but Nathan was relentless. A final strike sent Ivanov crashing against a dumpster, dazed and defeated. Nathan grabbed his gun, breathing hard. It's over. Sirens wailed in the distance. Backup had arrived. Ivanov laughed bitterly. It's never over. Nathan pulled the trigger. Mission complete. As he disappeared into the night, he knew one thing for certain: there would always be another fight waiting. Title: Shadow Reckoning. The city of Black Ridge had long been a battleground of crime and corruption. Gangs ran the streets, politicians were bought, and justice was nothing more than a myth. At the center of it all was Dorian Kane, a ruthless mastermind who controlled everything from illegal arms trade to high-profile assassinations. No one dared to challenge him until now. Logan Archer had once been Blackridge's top detective, an incorruptible force in a city drowning in vice. But when he got too close to exposing Kane's operation, his entire life was ripped apart. Framed for murder and forced into exile, he disappeared into the shadows, waiting for the right time to strike back. Tonight was that night. Logan had spent the last 3 years preparing, gathering intelligence, and tracking Kane's every move. His first target, an underground drug operation hidden beneath an abandoned subway station. The operation was critical to Kane's empire, funneling millions into his war chest. Taking it down would be the first step in bringing the crime lord to his knees. Dressed in tactical gear, Logan infiltrated the station under the cover of darkness. Armed guards patrolled the tunnels, unaware of the storm that was about to hit them. Moving like a phantom, he eliminated them one by one, using the tunnel's echoes to mask his approach. Inside the main chamber, Kane's lieutenant, Victor Mendez, was overseeing a massive shipment. Logan perched himself on an overhead beam, scanning the scene. He had one shot to take Mendez alive. Without hesitation, he dropped down, using the element of surprise to take out 2 guards before they could react. Chaos erupted. Gunfire rang out as Logan weaved between cover, his precise shots cutting down Kane's enforcers. Mendez attempted to flee, but Logan was faster. A brutal hand-to-hand fight ensued, ending with Mendez pinned against the cold concrete floor. "Where's Kane?" Logan growled. Mendez coughed, blood trickling from his mouth. "You're already dead, Archer. He knows you're coming." Logan tightened his grip. Then he should start running. With Mendez unconscious, Logan rigged the drug stockpile with explosives, setting a timed detonator. He vanished just as the explosion sent fire and debris roaring through the tunnels. Kane would know now his empire was under attack. And Logan Archer was just getting started. Title: The Final Stand. The city of Berlin was alive with energy, but for Agent Jason Reed, it was just another battleground. The cold air stung his face as he moved through the abandoned industrial district, his silenced pistol tight in his grip. He wasn't here for a routine mission, this was personal. His target, Anton Markov, an ex-KGB assassin turned arms dealer, responsible for the deaths of dozens of Jason's allies. Tonight, Markov was finalizing a deal for a stolen nuclear warhead. If Jason didn't stop him, millions could die. Control, I have visual, Jason whispered into his earpiece. He was perched on a rooftop, watching as Markov's convoy rolled into the warehouse below. "Copy that," came the response. "You need to move fast." MI6 intercepted a transmission. Markov isn't planning to sell the warhead. He's going to detonate it. Jason's stomach tightened. Understood. Going in. He descended silently, slipping past 2 guards at the entrance. Inside, crates of weapons lined the walls. The warehouse reeked of oil and gunpowder. Jason moved with precision, taking down 3 more guards before reaching the main chamber. Markov stood at the center, flanked by heavily armed mercenaries. Before him, a sleek black case sat on a table, the warhead. Jason exhaled. Time to act. Dash. He fired first, dropping 2 men before they could react. Chaos erupted. Bullets tore through the air as Jason dove behind cover, taking out another guard with a precise headshot. Markov grabbed the warhead case and bolted toward a side exit. Jason cursed and pursued, weaving through a hail of gunfire. The chase spilled onto the rain-slicked streets. Markov was fast, but Jason was faster. He lunged, tackling the Russian to the ground. They crashed into a pile of crates, the warhead case skidding across the pavement. Markov lashed out, landing a brutal punch. Jason reeled but countered, striking Markov's ribs with bone-crunching force. Breathing hard, Jason retrieved his pistol and aimed it at Markov's head. It's over. Markov smirked, blood on his lips. You think killing me will change anything? Jason didn't hesitate. 1 shot. 1 kill. Dash. As sirens blared in the distance, Jason secured the warhead and vanished into the night. His mission was complete. But he knew the war was far from over.